Hello everybody, my name is Brady and I'm a 19th century American historian and we are back with another React video. Today we're going to be checking out more salmonella. We have Diogenes, the publicly defecating philosopher. Sounds like a hoot. I'm very excited for that. What do I know about Diogenes? When I get into these things and it's something that I haven't studied formally, I like to look inward and start with, okay, what do I already know going into this? I knew plenty of philosophy buffs going to school and whatever. You encounter plenty of them at college. I knew one who was really into the idea of cynicism, so Diogenes comes up. He was like the cynicism guy. He lived very minimalistically. I understand that much. He was basically homeless, which, do your thing, man. If you find fulfillment through that sort of stuff, like, that's totally fine. I also know there's a concept called Diogenes syndrome where you basically don't take care of yourself, but I was told that that's kind of BS because that's also associated with hoarding, and Diogenes was like the opposite of a hoarder, so that's interesting enough. I'm excited to learn more about the guy. Philosophy has always been something that's kind of eluded me in a lot of ways. A lot of the philosophers that I've gotten into are at least a little bit more modern than this. And they're very political. I don't know exactly what Diogenes is into, so I guess we'll check it out. Let's crank this up.
Hey kids, time for another hot steamy load of knowledge dripping down your neck and chest. Today, we're gonna talk
Cool.
about the greatest mind to ever live. Nope, not him. Nope. Keep trying. Who I'm really referring to is the ancient Greek philosopher known as Diogenes of Sinope. Diogenes followed the school of thought known as cynicism. Far from the yelling at CNN, sitting down during the pledge kind of cynicism we know today, cynic philosophy centers around the rejection of conventional desires in favor of a simple, moderate lifestyle. But
cynicism is a term that I use regularly, but I'm not really referring to the formal philosophy. When I use it, it's a much more casual use of cynicism, and it refers to the more modern stuff that he's talking about there. It just occurred to me how much I use that term in regular conversation, so I guess it's a different Wikipedia article.
while many philosophers made a virtue out of self-discipline, Diogenes took all that to a whole new level. He was the most down-to-earth guy out there. Literally, he lived on the ground, in a big tub in the marketplace where he'd beg for a living. For a while, his only possession was a wooden bowl, until one day he saw a child drinking out of his hands, and he was like, what do I need this shit for? Now, though his way of life and perspective was unique enough, it's the way Diogenes showed it that really set him apart from the rest. When someone today wants to go against society, they dye their hair blue and make a blog post about how there aren't any obese women of color in Super Smash Bros. On the other hand, when Diogenes has something to say, he just jerks off in public. Takes a dump in the amphitheater, pisses on passerby, whatever. The way he saw it, he was just performing much-needed bodily functions while also protesting the superficiality of the civilization around him.
Okay, so he's like, I don't fully understand the philosophy here, but I'm trying to put my finger on it a little bit here. So he's saying that a lot of this stuff is totally natural, and the fact that it is seen as improper behavior is just something kind of arbitrary that we created around ourselves. That seems to be the vibe that I'm getting from him here. I mean, if you're pissing on passersby, that's not cool, because you're getting into their space. But like, I get it. Like, if you want to, I'm trying to think of a good example, like something that's not publicly considered acceptable but doesn't really harm other people. I guess a good modern example is like the free the nipple stuff. Like, why can't women like walk around with their shirts off? Why is that weird? I suppose a cynic would be like, it's not there's nothing wrong with that. You can do whatever you want, man. I'd imagine that's kind of a better, slightly modern example.
Keep in mind, though he was an unwashed, publicly defecating homeless man, that's not all he was. His wit was easily on par with his philosophical contemporaries, and his lack of inhibition meant that everyone knew it. For example,
Oof.
here's an often pondered question of the day. How do you define a human in the simplest of terms possible? Plato decided to tackle this question, and he came up with featherless biped. And in the ancient Greek world, they didn't have any kangaroos or gibbons or nothing, so people were the only things around that both walked on two legs and didn't have feathers. Plato thought he was real clever with that one. Diogenes,
What
on
a
the other
smarty
hand, he
pants.
wasn't having any of it. So he said, "Alright, you pompous prick, I'll give you a featherless biped."
I don't like the sound of
So,
this.
in reality, we do not learn. And when
I have
we
a feeling
call
we're about
learning,
to
it's
get
only a
something
process
like-
of recollection.
Yeah,
Oh,
here we go.
goddammit, not you again. What's up, fuckers? Hey, check out this person I found. Isn't it such a human? Look at him, wow. What a guy. Anyway, love to stay and chat, but I saw some trash outside that looked delicious. Smell you later, deliberator.
So, sometimes it's hard to tell what is like salmonella editorializing and what's like the actual stuff. This honestly doesn't seem too far out of the realm of possibility when you think of like the weirdos that got into like early philosophy. There were some really weird people that got into that, so to think that Diogenes would pluck the feathers off of a chicken and use it to mock him, like I kind of see how that could happen. It feels very, very possible, but also he feels like kind of like a hipster edgelord sort of thing, but like I also can't tell how much of that is I guess salmonella editorializing.
Yes, my student. Yeah, what the fuck? Here's another anecdote. Macedonian King Alexander was a big fan of Diogenes, so he decided
Alexander
to
the
pay
Great,
him a
there he
visit.
is.
And he said, "Hey man, big fan. If there's any favor I can do for you, anything at all, just let me know. I'll make it happen." Now, to put this into perspective, this is Alexander we're talking about. The guy who had his cousin straight up assassinated so he could take the throne. The guy who would later go on to conquer the majority of the civilized world. And you know what Diogenes says? He goes, "Yeah, you can do me a favor. Move over, you're in my light." Wow, I'm not even mad. You really are just a legend. Diogenes...
that is kind of awesome, because like it would be even cooler if this was like post conquering the world Alexander the Great, but like that's fine too. Like, but imagine though, like Alexander, not just Alexander, but Alexander the Great comes up to you and you be like, yeah, get out of my light, man. You ain't too important to me. And I guess for somebody who lives their life like that, lives their life so minimalistically, fame and whatever, it really wouldn't make that much of a difference.
lived up to
He's not going to get starstruck.
the ripe old age of 89. I don't know if that's a
It's not
testament
bad.
to his lifestyle or if he just got lucky, but either way, if there is
Yeah,
a
sometimes
God,
people
he
get lucky.
definitely has a sense of humor. The exact cause of Diogenes' death varies depending on which source you look at. Some say he died from an infected dog bite. Others say it was from eating raw octopus. My favorite theory is that one day
I've
he
seen
just
that
got
one.
tired of living, and he just held his breath till he died. He left behind instructions on what to do with his body after he passed. Now, when people think of special post-mortem instructions like these, they usually think, scatter my ashes at 6:53 a.m. off the western face of Mount Rainier using my grandfather's favorite ladle. None of that with Diogenes. He kept it simple. In the words of Danny DeVito, when I'm dead, just throw me in the trash. Specifically, he wanted his body tossed into the wild so animals could feast on him, thereby giving back to the earth what little he took from it. So
Honestly, that makes all the sense in the world. Like, I get that, because, like, there's something about the way he lives that's very pragmatic. He's thinking about, like, okay, how can we get the most use out of my body? That actually makes total sense, while on the face of it, even on the face of it, it doesn't, there's nothing crazy about that at all. That's probably one of the most normal things he ever did.
So kids, moral of the story, don't judge a book by its cover. The man who appears to be nothing more than a shit-smeared babbling vagrant could actually be the wisest man you'll ever meet. Or he could really just be a raving fucking lunatic. Bring a
That's
knife,
possible.
just in case. Anyway, till next time, I'm Salmonella, and thank you for watching.
It's amazing the line between philosopher and homeless person. It's kind of crazy. At the time, I'm sure. it makes me wonder, like, what sort of impact he could have had, like, in his day. Is he one of those people who, like, got big after his death a little bit more? I'm fascinated by this concept. While I don't think that I subscribe to any, like, one particular philosophical way. I probably do actually subscribe to some sort of philosophical way of thought. I just don't think of it as such. Cynicism is something that I kind of get. I don't know if I is something I would really live by, but there is definitely something there that I can sort of connect with. I want to maybe learn more about this guy. As far as philosophers go, this is one that it's not pretentious. Or maybe it is pretentious, because like there's living minimalistically, but sometimes people do that and see it as something more grand than it actually is. So maybe it is pretentious. I don't know. Is it pretentious? Yay or nay? Give this video a thumbs up if it's pretentious, and give it a thumbs up if it's not. All right. Yeah. That was really cool. If you guys have any other Salmonella videos you want me to check out, or any other history or even philosophy related videos, I think that would be interesting to get into. I've never really dabbled too deep into philosophy on this channel. Leave them in the comments section below. Let me know what you guys like. I'm always down for new stuff. And yeah, I know this one was a little bit short, but I had fun with it. Thank you guys for watching. Become a channel member, damn it. Like this video, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. All right.